Welcome back to Gem State Game Day here on IdahoSports.com. Very pleased to be joined now by one of the most prolific quarterbacks we've seen in some time in the state of Idaho, entering his fourth season with the Meridian High Warriors, Zeke Martinez. Zeke, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Does it feel like it's your senior year? I mean, I feel like you've been around for so long, all the way back to your freshman year. Has it hit you yet that this is your final ride with the yellow and blue of Meridian High?
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. I mean, I was talking about it with my friends the other day, man. I felt like freshman year was just here, and now I'm a senior, so it's pretty crazy how time flies like that. But I'm just so blessed to be able to play this game one more year with my guys. So I'm excited. This is gonna be a fun year.
Yeah, it's a career where you were basically thrown into the fire very early on. Your big brother Malachi unfortunately got injured during his senior season. They turned to you as a young freshman. How have you continued to improve from that point to where you are now as one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Idaho in your senior year?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely blessed to get that opportunity to play as a freshman on varsity. Just to get that much experience helped me so much just in my later years. So I definitely feel like I've been experienced a lot more than maybe other people have. And I've been just, do my trainings over the years and getting as much work in as I can from just my peers and the people around me and just learning from my coaches. They've been pouring into me so much. So I've been blessed to have just a good support system around me. And I've been growing at a good pace. So I'm excited to show what I got this year. I'm excited for our team to show what we got. I think it's going to be a great year.
Yeah, we'll get to your teammates in just 1 second. One last question about you, and then we'll turn to some of the guys that you're playing with. How has the recruiting process been going for you as you enter your senior season?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of different, especially just I haven't really experienced anything as much as this. A lot of coaches reaching out. So it's been definitely a cool process just to be a part of, just definitely being grateful for what I have. A lot of people I hear it's pretty stressful, but for me, it's been really exciting. I would say I'm just so blessed to be in the position that I am. God's put me in this position on purpose. So I'm just taking every opportunity that I get. So I'm having fun with it. It's been a real good summer.
I love that mentality and how you're leaning into that for sure. So tell us a
Sure.
little bit about Meridian High football. We know you guys like to run the football. You've got multiple running backs that can do damage. What can fans expect from Meridian High on offense this year?
Yeah, I think the fans just can expect another great year. We're going to put on a show, but definitely not looking too far ahead. We're taking it one game at a time, but we've been working really hard this summer. Got a couple new coaches on staff, so I'm excited to just see how our team just comes closer and coming to our first game because we've been doing tons of things this summer, and we're really excited to show what we got. It's been a fun summer as a team. We've been doing a lot of team bonding, just getting more as a family. And I feel like we really have come closer to each other. So it's going to be a great year.
Yeah, a quarterback will only go as far as his offensive line takes him. This is your opportunity to give your big guys up front a little love. Who's going to be paved with protecting you this year?
Man, I'd say my whole entire line. I was literally talking about it earlier today with the guys. Like, I can't do anything without our line. So I'm just so blessed that they're there just to protect me on every single play. Starting off with, my left tackle all the way to my right tackle. I'm just so happy that those guys are there doing the hard work that a lot of people, kind of goes unnoticed. Not a lot of people see the O-line and how much they do. But once you are in the quarterback position, you kind of see how much you need them. So they're definitely the dogs on the team. So I love to have them.
Yeah, no doubt. So you guys opened the season with Eagle, appropriate enough. The schedule makers had a doozy right out of the gates. You played Eagle twice last year. You fall 36-33 in a shootout in the regular season. Then in the SIC championship game by a single point, 22-21. How motivated are you and your teammates to get back out there against what's going to be a really good Eagle team once again?
Yeah, we're definitely ready to go. I mean, Eagle is a great team every single year. They're one of the matchups that we look forward to every year. Just great guys over there that just give us a great competition every time we play them. So it's going to be an exciting year to play them again because they got some good guys coming back, and we also have some guys coming back as well. So I think it will be we'll put on a show for the fans watching for sure, both of us.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game for sure. Okay, last question. What are the team goals that Coach Zamberlin and the coaching staff have set for you guys this year at Meridian?
Yeah, so this year we've really been stressing on not looking too far ahead. That's something we're not focusing on right now. We're definitely looking at the next game, and then once we do that, the next game after that. So we're taking it one step at a time, and the coach has really been harping on that all season. So all the guys are pretty much thinking the same thing. Like, we're just taking it one day at a time. Once practice is over, we're looking forward to the next one. Either it was the best practice or the worst practice. We're always looking ahead to the next one. So, I mean, there's going to be mess ups in the game. Whatever it is, we got to learn to get past those and look forward to the next play. So that's kind of been our mindset this entire summer.
It's that baseball mentality. You got to always look ahead to what's next. Lots of opportunities for sure. Okay, I like it. That's a good mantra. One practice at a time, not even one game at a time. One practice.
One step at a time. Yes, sir.
All right. Zeke Martinez, senior quarterback for Meridian High this fall. Best of luck to you and your teammates. It's going to be fun to watch you guys compete again in what's going to be a really tough conference. And best of luck to you personally as well. It's been really fun to watch you over these past 3.5 seasons.
Appreciate you. That means a lot. I mean, it's just cool just to see where I've become just from just a young age, just being where I'm at now. I'm so blessed to be here. So thank you for letting me do this. It's always good talking with you.
Big thanks to Zeke Martinez from Meridian High School joining us here on Gem State Game Day. And so Meridian has been one of the premier powers in the 6A ranks. They were not picked to win their division, though, in our preseason coaches polls that we conducted with every coach in the state of Idaho. So let's get to it, guys. Here are the preseason Class 6A favorites. You see Coeur d'Alene from the north there, Eagle and Rocky Mountain. They are in opposite pods, opposite divisions, the Foothills and the River Division, respectively. They won each of their pods last year. And then Rigby, of course, the big bad power from the east. Ryan, Coeur d'Alene got all the way to the state championship game a season ago, and they appear to be loaded for bear once again this year.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Coeur d'Alene and what they bring back. Obviously, I don't want to say there was a quarterback controversy last year, but if you look at things on, they started with a different QB to start the year, and they beat Rigby at University of Montana. Then they switched quarterbacks, go Caden Simmons and ride the hand. I mean, the sophomore, he was awesome last year in his sophomore season, taking them all the way to the state championship game. But he's going to be back for his junior season, and he has got a full cupboard of receivers and weapons behind him on that offensive side of the football for the Vikings this year. I mean, I look at Coeur d'Alene, they're going to be a dangerous team offensively. And then everybody's like, well, they knew about Shea Robertson, who went on to play at Eastern Washington, and you had Camden DeGraw that went on to play at Washington State. But you look at the other players that are left there on that defensive side of the ball, there's not much drop-off. I mean, you got some studs on the defensive side of the football for the Vikings, and they're not going to be slight on talent, that's for dang sure. You got guys like Jason Cady, Kai Wheeler, Parker Neff's going to be at their linebacker position. Anthony Browning is a guy to keep an eye on too, as senior. Played some spot duty at the linebacker position last year. He's going to be probably playing a lot this coming season at linebacker. He's a player in my mind to keep an eye on. He's had a great offseason. There's a lot of those kids, they've been in the weight room. They've been playing in Spokane, doing a lot of the player training with a couple of the groups over there. And, man, that team is going to be – in my mind, they're dangerous. I look at them. They could be a definite favorite to win the 6A state championship this year.
Yeah, and we remember that Coeur d'Alene, of course, got to the championship against Thailand, but they had to beat previously undefeated Eagle in last year's semifinals, a game that Coeur d'Alene won 7-6, despite being outgained nearly 2-1 on offense. And so Eagle is a program that is motivated to get back and finish the job. Now, they did lose a lot to graduation. They lost some big linemen up front. They did say goodbye to Davis Harson, their senior quarterback. He's now at Idaho State University, but they bring back one of the best running backs in not just 6A, but the whole state of Idaho, Noah Burnham. Had to take over as a sophomore last year, rushed for over 1,000 yards for Eagle. And so Eagle is kind of the favorite in the River Division, Logan. But when we look at that Foothills Division, man, Rocky Mountain is there, Meridian is there, Middleton is there as well. That is going to be a tough top three.
Yeah, that I feel like the top of that side of the 6A SIC is stacked. In Middleton, has just been right there, just right underneath them for, the last couple of years, and maybe is still there again this year. We'll find out. They've been close in those games. It's funny. I was talking to somebody. Those are the only two teams they've lost to since they've moved up to 6A, is just Meridian and just Rocky Mountain. And so if they can just get past those two, then, maybe we could talk more about them. But Rocky Mountain and Meridian last year played, that game really decides who wins the pod, right? Those two. Last year was 7-3. That was the final, with Rocky Mountain losing that game to Eagle. They want to wash that taste out of their mouth this year and get it done. It's been a couple of years since we've seen Rocky Mountain in the state championship. Obviously, they won it a couple of years ago back, and it was played at Madison High School. That's what you want for a state championship in Idaho, is playing it in Rexburg in late November, right? A nice, cold, brisk day over there. But hey, they got it done. But they bring back a lot of great players. They did lose some great players, and maybe Ryan, kind of what you were talking about with the quarterback situation for Coeur d'Alene. Maybe that's what we see this year out of Rocky Mountain, where they maybe try to figure it out. Maybe they lean on a younger guy coming in down the line. That's kind of the unknown, I think, right now with Rocky, is where that's going to be. But we know they're going to run the ball. We know they're going to run the ball extremely well. That's something I don't think anybody has a doubt on with the Grizzlies. They're going to play great defense. They're going to come out with that. So we'll see what happens through the air. They don't really, they don't have time to quote. I guess they do have time this year to figure it out. Their schedule, they'll start off with CUNA, maybe a team that was picked by the coaches a little bit lower in the schedule, so maybe some time to figure it out there. And then they play an out-of-state team. But then right after that, the Battle of the Mountains is coming in 2 short weeks after that. So they're going to have to figure it out. They have some time, but not a ton of time to get that cemented down before conference play kicks up.
Yeah, one thing I saw in Rocky Mountain last year, too, just to throw that, because I had that semifinal game, the quarterfinal game when they came up and played Coeur d'Alene. I mean, they played 3 quarterbacks in that football game, and all 3, and they were a little stagnant on the offensive side, but they brought in one of their younger kids that came in, and he spelled in the second half, and he actually brought them on a couple of really nice drives. I think that, but the talent around them is there. I mean, they have team speed on team speed. And that's a team that's going to be probably one to mess with down in the District 3 out of the Boise area. But I look at it too, is that the conference, Meridian is a team that I think is getting slept on a little bit. I think they've got a lot of talent too. Everybody's talking about Eagle and Rocky, and Mountain View is getting some mentions too. But I mean, you look at that Meridian team. I mean, they're always there, and that's the thing. I think that they're getting slighted just a little bit as far as attention goes coming out of the SIC.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain's got that upper end talent, you guys. 3 players ranked in the top 5 for recruiting in the class of 2025 in corner Caden Kimball Turner, edge rusher Isaiah Reed, who has committed to Nevada, as well as safety Hayden Thompson. And if that weren't enough, they've got 3 juniors that are in the top 5 for the class of 26. Offensive tackle Jax Tanner, defensive end / defensive tackle Rowan Rupp, and tight end Drew Bird. So that is what's going on at Rocky Mountain. And then, of course, there's Big Bad Rigby. We'll put it back up on the screen here. There's the Rigby Trojans. So Coeur d'Alene, Eagle, Rocky, and Rigby are the 4 quote-unquote winners of our preseason coaches polls. If you want to see the full results, you can find them all at IdahoSports.com. We have them for every single league across the state and in every classification. Rigby guys, they're going to be good. They're going to be good again. They bring back Feki Puha, a 4-year starter at center, just a bedrock on the offensive line. He's going to be a phenomenal player, and really he'll anchor the attack for Rigby. Defensively, they bring back some like Parker Graham, who's kind of a hybrid safety linebacker. They bring back Gage Larson on the defensive line, Cannon Korth, who was an all-conference cornerback a season ago. The big question is, just like with Rocky Mountain, quarterback, right? Rocky, quote unquote, got a transfer. Well, not quote unquote. I was going to say they hit the portal, but they didn't. They got a transfer. Austin Rovig, who was Timberline's quarterback last year, transferred into Rocky Mountain. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to start. They might have a younger guy they like better. With Rigby, they got a fairly prominent transfer from Skyline, Amani Morrell, who put up nearly 1,500 yards all-purpose last year as a running back receiver for the Grizzlies. He's at Rigby. He's going to headline the backfield. And then at the quarterback position, yeah, they said goodbye to Luke Flowers. He's now at the University of Montana, third consecutive Rigby starting quarterback to go to the Division I level, specifically the Big Sky Conference. You had Keegan Thompson go to Idaho State, and then Tiger Adolfo go to Weber State, and now Luke Flowers go to Montana. Well, who steps in? It's Luke's younger brother, Jake Flowers. So I don't expect much of a drop-off at all with that quarterback position there in Rigby. So those are kind of the favorites, guys. Let's take a look at the week 1 schedule for the Class 6A ranks. It's fairly light. The schedule will be a little beefier as we get going down the line here, but it's basically 3 games, guys. So Ryan, I'll let you go first. I pick one of the games here you want to spotlight. I think I know which one it's going to be, but
yeah, the game I like spotlight. I mean, it's pretty obvious standing out. That Rigby Coeur d'Alene game up here in Coeur d'Alene is going to be a dandy of a ball game. That is going to be, that's got state championship type flavor. Week 1 again, 2 years in a row they've played each other in that opening week, and this one's going to be, I think, a classic. I mean, you look at how's the defense of Rigby match up with the offense of Coeur d'Alene. I think it's pretty close. I mean, I think the thing about Coeur d'Alene, though, I know that Coach Amos was really talking about was spreading the ball out a little bit more this year. Now that you've got Simmons back there at quarterback, he's going to be able to make some of those calls at the line of scrimmage and audible into some different stuff. And that's going to be really interesting to see how Coeur d'Alene shifts offensively. We've seen them really hang their hat on defense so much over the last few years. They're going to be an offensive stalwart this year. I really think that they're going to knock the doors off of a lot of teams just with their speed, especially on the perimeter. They are absolutely stacked at the slot middle receiver position. They got guys on the outside that can stretch the field too. They got a matchup nightmare in Kai Wheeler. That's going to be a really interesting game to see. And then I want to see how Flowers adjusts to being quarterback, starting, the 6A campaign, his junior year coming in, playing the team that, is fresh off of the loss in the state championship game in Coeur d'Alene. That's going to be a really interesting game.
Yeah, the previous 2 years they met at the University of Montana's Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula as a neutral site. Well, this year there's a Tyler Childers concert. He's a country music star, and so the Saturday they usually book it. Concert going on. Sorry. So Coeur d'Alene will host. Next year they'll go to Rigby, a true home and home. Logan, what game are you going to spotlight?
Brandon, obviously, you should have asked me first. That would have been a lot easier. That Rigby Coeur d'Alene game, I'll just give my extra 2 cents on it real quick. Just saw both teams play last year. Coeur d'Alene, I saw him in the state championship. It just was blown away with Simmons at quarterback. That kid's fun to watch, and so that's obviously going to be a great game for them, for both teams. Should be super fun to see that one. But I'll move down, or I'll move up on this list. Let's look at this Madison Bonneville game. This is a sneaky one. The Bobcats have not they did not make it to state last year. We haven't, that's not normal for Madison. And so I'm curious to see how they regroup themselves coming out this year. How are they going to do to get back? That's their goal, right? You want to beat Rigby. That's always they've got them right down the street, right? You've got this big sleeping giant. You got to take care of them. You got to deal with Highland. They have a lot to deal with in that conference year in and year out. And so curious to see how they do in this game against Bonneville, and how, maybe some of their players coming together. So keep an eye on that and see how it goes. And for Bonneville, if they're able to get a huge win, watch out. That would be a big victory for the Bees to get their season off started in a big way.
Yeah, Bonneville with a new head coach in Shane Stevenson from Montana, coached at Carroll College for a brief stint, and then has been coaching high school ball down in Arizona. So a lot of optimism around that Bonneville program. All right, I'll take the third one. Highland is going to travel to Las Vegas, guys, to play the Legacy High Longhorns, technically North Las Vegas. You'll notice they already have a game under their belts. They're 1-0, and they went 8-4 a season ago. This is going to be a stiff test for Highland right out of the gates. Guys, they lost every single starter from last year's championship team. Now, they did have some rotational pieces that earned all conference accolades, and they were really hanging their hat on Kai Callan, who was slated to be a returning starter at cornerback and probably one of the top players in his class. But he moved to Carrollton, Georgia to play a little stiffer competition. He has committed to James Madison University at the D1 level. And so we wish Kai Callan the best, but Highland is going to have to figure out, okay, their JV program is typically pretty good. We'll see if they can graduate to the varsity level and have that same level of success.